We're live.
I don't hear
I
anything.
don't hear it.
That's right. It's the
That's right.
morning show here on ABC News Radio KMET 1490 AM. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. Good to have you with us. We got lots of things going on, and in the world of, well, whatever we call it, there's some weird things going on. I don't know if you guys saw this. The headline was a rifle-toting robber is no match for a shotgun-wielding Southland liquor store owner. The attempted robbery and bandits screaming all caught on camera. It's one of those where I would say there are people that kind of go like, "Oh, I got this," right? Being the guy that wanted to kind of rob the place. And he came with a whole crew, by the way, of like, I think there were a total of 4 people in the vehicle. It's seen from the inside and the outside. And the owner did something that, like, the Wild Wild West would be proud of. You know what I mean? Like, you got to check it out. Check out our friends over at ABC7LA. Check out their Instagram, and you'll see it all happen right there. And evidently, the liquor store owner did suffer a heart attack after the heist. But it's one of these things where it's like, yikes, right, Jesse? I can see your face there. What's going on there?
Right? Oh my god. I mean, like, you're not gonna get that much from a liquor store. Why are you robbing it with a gigantic gun? I mean,
Yeah,
this isn't Grand Theft Auto or Fortnite or something like that.
yeah, yeah.
But it kind of seems like it at times, or like just like walking around like a Grand Theft Auto world.
Yeah, and it looks like one of those situations. I don't want to bring it up because let's see, well, yeah, our system here is a little slow. I gotta get that taken care of. But yeah, it's an interesting thing to see and then say, okay, why? Look, let's put it this way: 7-Eleven had a situation right recently. Then they closed their doors. Starbucks. I'm not gonna lie, man. I was at Starbucks, Jesse, and I was kind of one. Well, let me put it this way: I was meeting up with a friend, okay, and this was in Gardena, and at first I was like, all right, let's meet at Coffee Bean, right? And I was like, okay, Coffee Bean, everybody loves Coffee Bean. If you don't know, go check it out if you have one open in your area. And in the area, they closed them actually, completely closed. If you look up the actual uh, location, it says permanently closed. I'm like, all right, so I don't know why is that, right? And then I met up with my friend who actually we were excited. He actually posted on Twitter. Go follow him, JS Torres or Jesse Torres, the other Jesse. But he actually was a little surprised as well because they literally, like, when we met up around, I want to say 4, we met up and I showed him the book cover, a couple options. I posted as well. I got some of your opinions as well on social media. But literally, the lady inside, they had about 3 people, um, you know, kind of serving customers and such. And like, we have to close the doors on the inside. We need to move you outside. And we're like, huh? Like, literally in the middle of the day, they have to move you outside because they have, 3 employees. And I was like, so I was kind of like, why? And then somebody later said, well, maybe it was something because of the violence, because Starbucks kind of like is starting to kind of go, oh no, we don't know what's going to happen or next, right? It was a nice neighborhood. I didn't see anything bad happen, but at the end of the day, I was kind of like, how long can a company stay in business if they keep closing the doors, like in the middle of the day, especially Starbucks, right? So if you see these things happening, let us know. There's some odd, like, I don't know how to explain it, but I mean, they had a drive-through, right? So it wasn't that they closed the doors like permanently. There's like, we gotta just have you use the drive-through. But it's kind of like McDonald's saying during the middle of the day, hey, we only have so many people to go around, so you need to kind of do it through the drive-through, right, Jesse? Isn't that weird?
Pretty much. It's just like it's either drive through or call in and maybe just they'll have it rush you outside or something. That's what
Yeah,
it seems.
yeah. So with things like this, I kind of go, okay, I get it. But yeah, so just be careful out there. If you have a place of business, be careful. It's one of those things that you got to be ahead of, all right? In other news, though, Jesse, I think we've been talking about it as of the last week or so, and people are going, "What do we do?" Right? There's a lot of questions, and a lot of answers are being met. Not all are being met, and it's all about the pox, right? The pox is one of those things that is let's put it this way. We just saw another report recently. Two more children again were diagnosed with or testing positive with monkeypox, right? And I saw somebody post recently, and it was kind of one of those like I didn't know what to do with it. Social media posts just like monkeypox, smallpox, the avian flu. She's like, I don't know if I should visit my doctor or veterinarian, right? And I'm like, okay, I get it. Because people are kind of like, you know what I mean? It's becoming it's becoming a like what next, right? It's like one of those things where it's like, okay. And we talked about the avian flu, right, which affected poultry a lot. So if you've seen your prices when it comes to poultry go up, there's a reason for that. Recently, I saw prices for beef will go up, or if it isn't already up because of certain people selling off certain livestock or situations there. So I don't know what's going on there. But I will say, well, I don't know if you've gone like shopping lately, Jesse. I mean, has it been easy to shop for your latest things, or have you seen kind of the increase? Because everybody's talking about it. The increase is it's almost like increasing every day. I just saw a report on rent that people are going to go up at least because, and this is important for you guys to know because I've seen this, and people go, "Isn't that a problem?" I go, "Yeah, it is because it doesn't make sense." They can increase your rent by 10%, right? But usually not more than that. So if you have had a increase of over that, which some have had anywhere from 30 to 40% all of a sudden, that's you have. Let's put it this way: there's certain protections in place, but usually people don't go through with it. They just say, "All right," or they just move out, right? So, but 10% is actually kind of more common than not. Um, but at a time where people can barely get like out from under, kind of like that Starbucks situation, I wonder how that's going to impact the rest of us. Does that make sense?
No, no, no. It does. It does.
Yeah. Like, are you prepared for a 10% increase where you live?
No. I'm hopefully they offer blood donations or maybe I don't know kidney. I don't know. I got two.
Got it. You're willing to do yard work for free? Is that what you're saying?
Hey, you know what? If it gets me lower rent, I will do that.
You know
I
what?
will do that.
I get it. I get it. So yeah, there you go. All right. Anyway, so lots of things happening, a lot of questions. What do we do next? And I say this: get through it all, man, and save your money. I had a conversation, and it was an interesting one. I was thinking, okay, what do we do with this? And the person's like, you know what? And this actually happened, oddly enough, at an event. I posted it recently at it's the LPN events, right? And you can check them out. They're in LA. They're fun. Alejandro Menchaca, great attorney, usually throws these things every other month or so. And he had kind of what he called a pool party, but it was at basically, a hotel on the outside. So people wore face masks and people, got checked in and such. But one person came up to me. He actually is part of a team that develop buildings, right? And he said, I don't think people are doing the math. And I was like, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, people are spending so much with the economy going where it's at. I don't think people are going to have enough money at the end of the day. He goes, I got friends that aren't going to have money like within, a few months because of the way they're spending. Because at the rate we're going, like, how do you, like, oh, and I'll give you an example. I had another person who said, I can't afford my car payment, right? Some people's car payments anywhere from 800 to 1,000, because they got like a nice vehicle and and they got, maybe it's a BMW or a Mercedes or it looks cool, but now they're kind of like, what do I do next, right? Maybe they're living at home with a you know what I mean? Like maybe they're youthful or young, and what do they do next? And I say save your money because the finances of honestly the world are not adding up. I believe we're in okay. You know how it's been kind of said. There's a recession now. Now it's kind of been kind of like noted, and I don't know why Biden's fighting. I think coronavirus got to his head. Not gonna lie, because I've been saying this has been going on for at least a good since 20. Well, the person I was talking to said it definitely goes back to 2018. I'm like, okay, about 2018, 2019, we were already in one, and then coronavirus didn't help it. We got more in one, and now we're not even like coming out from under because all prices are going up. So I saw a report on real estate, for example, right? And with the increase all of a sudden at 5, 6, 7, 8%, depending on credit and such, people are saying, you know what, I'm not going to buy. They were good at zero, right? And then like 1%. But when it goes up that way, all of a sudden, it's like, how can I figure that out with the current economy where it's at? Or my current employment status, is it going to stay alive through it all? And so a lot of people are not calling into kind of like, I would say this, they don't really do the math where you got to look at your monthly expense, you got to look at your needs, then you got to look at what your wants are, and then you got to look at, again, back to your vehicle, your rent, and all these things. If these things, and you're renting, for example, you have an increase all of a sudden in rent by, I don't know, 100 and some dollars, are you going to be able to afford that long term? I say budget, eat at home, don't eat out as much. There's ways to economize to spend another $100 easily. You just have to kind of, maybe, I'll give you an example. We ate beans the other day. I get beans every day. You know what I mean? Canned foods are a good thing to kind of, if you're kind of cutting corners, so to speak. But I would say if you're a family of like 3 or 4, you really need to cut back. Let's say you have kids, and just you don't have kids, but you have family that have kids, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So let's say the kid wants to go out and eat at, I don't know, a favorite place, McDonald's, right? The price pretty same as other places. But let's say you do that 5 times a week, right? Because you're busy. You're maybe a family man or a family woman. Maybe you're raising them yourself. Maybe the guy doesn't, pay his due because he could barely afford living as it is. And you're providing for the child, right? Now an emergency happens and they need to go to, I don't know, maybe the doctor, right? Pox is a problem right now, okay? And this report with kids getting pox is really a bad situation because, and I know, and I said this to you on the show, I said, be careful, it's going to be kind of said like it's, let me put it this way. It says this: at least 4 children in the U.S. have tested positive for monkeypox, according to officials. Amidst a growing emergence of cases, state officials, and this was in Indiana, and we had already a couple here in California, have confirmed that 2 children had tested positive for monkeypox. No additional information, but State Health Commissioner Dr. Chris Box said, like many other states, Indiana has seen an increase in monkeypox cases over the past month. And when they say, like many other states, there's a lot of countries involved in this. And the problem is, and I said this, we're going to see numbers at first very low, right? Because you go, okay, they're in the hundreds right now. What's the situation there? Is it a problem? The problem is how it spreads. It spreads very fast. And because it's kind of seen as an unseen thing, you don't really know you have it until it breaks out on you. But how many people did you shake hands with? How many people did you kind of come across during the day? How many people, are you riding the bus? Are you riding the transit system? How many people just kind of get up and go? It leaves itself behind. That's what you have to remember. So I know some reports are saying, oh, this happens as well when you have someone, let's put it this way, like when you exchange fluids, right? maybe you kiss somebody infected, right? Or other, right? We'll just leave it at that. You could get it that way as well, but you can get it honestly, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to say this again, on the toilet seat. If they have a breakout around, and they leave that behind, I say put that paper down, right? Even if you kind of I know some people do and some people don't, but I say, put a bunch, because you don't want that on your body, right, Jesse?
Who doesn't use that little paper thing? I am not sitting on spare toilet seat. Nope, not in a random public location.
Yeah, you got to be careful now. You really got to be careful. And so that's the thing. So if you are a place of business, clean that regularly. That's number one. Number two, be careful. Okay, anywhere you have like steel, aluminum. I'll give you an example. I have a Coke bottle here, right? But if somebody infected touched this, and then I went to go touch it to throw it away, would I get sick with pox, Jesse?
Yes, of course you would.
The answer, yes. Yeah, absolutely. You got it. So you got to be careful. So if you have a box of gloves, bring those back, okay? And don't wear them all day. I remember, people were like, those transmit a lot of things as well. And they do if you wear them all day. They're not meant to be worn all day. They're meant to be worn, at times, but not all day. And get wipes ready to go. All right, people, we got to take a quick little break. We got more coming right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Together We Are Strong is a product brand which stands for unity, equality, and protecting voting rights. Shop now at togetherwearestrong.com for t-shirts, hats, and coffee mugs. All voting rights profits are donated to Rock the Vote, an organization on a mission to empowering young voters. Become an activist without saying a word. Togetherwearestrong.com. Make a difference in America and the world. Shop online at togetherwearestrong.com. Give the gift that helps drive change. Go visit togetherwearestrong.com.
Tried shipping a package lately? It's amazing how difficult and time-consuming it can be. Packing, envelopes, boxes, second-day ground, next-day air, it's all enough to give you a headache. Next time, do yourself a favor, go with the pros at the UPS store in Beaumont. They'll pack it right and let you know all your shipping options. You can also take care of everyday tasks like copies, faxing, notary services, and live scan fingerprinting. And while you're there, pay your Edison, gas company, and Verizon bills. Open extended hours Monday through Saturday. The UPS store in Beaumont, located in the Oak Valley Plaza at 1440 Beaumont Avenue. Call 951-769-5956. That's 951-769-5956. Online at the upsstorelocal.com/5027 or Google 5027.
Hi everyone, this is Bernadette, the host of One Life Radio, your number one source for alternative and holistic health since 2011. One Life Radio is designed to educate and inspire. Visit us at oneliferadio.com because you get one body, you get one mind, and you get one life. Get out there today and make the most of it. Tune in weekdays at 1 p.m. on 1490 KMET Smart Talk, ABC News Radio.
For all you truck and RV enthusiasts, Truckworks right here in Banning is your one-stop shop for the best diesel performance and overall truck and RV needs. Whether you're towing, racing, off-road, or just cruising around town, Truckworks specializes in truck and RV service, maintenance, repair, and performance upgrades for every light and medium-duty truck manufacturer. Bring it down to Terry and the guys at Truckworks. Call 951-922-4776 or visit their website at mydieseldown.com today.
Your health is the number one priority at Hemet Family Clinic. Dr. Peter Hine, a graduate of UCLA Medical School, has been practicing medicine for over 35 years and specializes in hypertension, diabetes, kidney disease, and other age-related ailments. Dr. Hine, a U.S. veteran and recipient of 2 Purple Hearts, puts his patients first. Log on to HemetFamilyClinic.com for the medical information you need. Hemet Family Clinic also offers telemedicine for those wanting consultation from their home. HemetFamilyClinic.com.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. We appreciate you. Again, it's 1490 AM. Check us out on social media as well. KMET 1490 AM on Facebook and KMET Radio on Twitter. We're following you. And if you tweet us and or retweet us, we appreciate as well. I know Jesse's always can be found on social media as well. How do we follow you, Jesse?
Yes, I am Jesse Sanchez on either Twitter or Instagram. I like following new people.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. Some things happened over the, well, let's put it this way.
Uh-oh.
Everybody remembers Osama bin Laden, right? Jesse, do you remember that?
Of course, I wish I didn't know that name, but yes, I do know that name.
Yeah.
Some,
So of course that got in the news recently. People are like, "Wait, what? I forgot about that." Right? According to this, the strike that killed Ayman al-Zawahiri is obviously a Taliban. Which again, I still have a problem with this, Jesse. 20 years later or so, you know, everybody withdrew from Afghanistan and let the Taliban back in, like as though they were, you know what I mean? Like, I get them getting this guy. I get that. And Biden went kind of on the report and said, hey, you attack us, we're going to attack you. And I'm like, yeah, that was 20 some years later. I mean, the guy had a lot of life, to be had in between, 9/11 and now, right? So, at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, why are you guys letting them get away with, I feel, soon to be a lot of bad things, which we already reported. Afghanistan is kind of one of those. It's kind of like, okay, sometimes it's reported, sometimes it's not. But if you look at the condition there and certain reports, and I look at a lot of stuff on YouTube, to be honest, to look at world news, it's bad there, man. The fact that we left our vehicles there, I mean, that should be a shameful thing, right? The fact that we gave them basically helicopters and gear just by leaving it there is kind of like, who does that, right? So, what do you think of there, Jess?
so our tax money pays for that, correct?
Well, you know what? In a way, it already paid for it, but yes.
Okay, so
You're calling write-off or what?
yeah, so go over there, take it back.
Take it
No,
back, exactly. I mean, they're wearing the gear of, honestly, yeah. So look, I guess however you want to think about it, it's just one of those situations where it's like, all right, yeah, you got a Taliban leader, good job, but they're still pretty much alive in Afghanistan. You kind of gave them, and back to like, the people that kind of said bye bye, there's going to be a problem there. There always is a problem when they take back Afghanistan. So just be ahead of it and be aware of it. So that's all I got to say there. In other news, Jesse, I know you got a story there you're working on. What's going on?
Story? No. You know how they always say, like, when a celebrity dies, they always, like, die in three?
Yeah. Oh, man, don't tell me.
No, no. I guess it happened over the weekend, I guess.
Who died?
Nichelle Nichols.
Oh, I saw that. Oh, yeah. And then Tony Dow from Leave It to Beaver, right?
And the woman who voiced Ursula in The Little Mermaid passed away as well.
Her too? Oh, no wonder I saw that. I was like, what's up with Little Mermaid lady? Oh, got it.
But yeah, stuff happens, and it's always a sad thing. And there was one story that got me interested. Have you heard? No, I mean, you've heard of the Mission Inn, right, in Riverside?
Yes, I've been there. Yeah, it's nice.
Okay, is that place haunted? Yes or no?
And then some.
Oh my God. Okay, so apparently somebody died there a few days ago. I think it was like 6 days ago.
All right.
But yeah, no, they fell off the rotunda.
What?
Yes.
What? That's okay. That's not the first report I've seen where people actually like fall out of nowhere. Some people walk like in the middle of the street, or some people like just all of a sudden. I saw one where they were doing racing at night, and the guy goes like to take a video of it, and then he kind of like, I don't know what happens, but he kind of like stumbles forward and gets run over. It's like I'm like, man, I'm glad everybody has a camera because I wouldn't believe half this stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. And all it says is a woman died after she fell from the rotunda at the Mission Inn Hotel in Riverside. The woman was in cardiac arrest. The woman was treated by first responders but later died at a hospital. The historic hotel is known for its rotunda, which features a circular staircase. Yeah, I just hear a lot of like ghost stories and whatnot from that place. So could that be it?
Yeah, I mean, there's weirder things out there. I will say I was at a wedding there. They have a lot of weddings and events there. And they're pretty neat, by the way. I remember going to a business event there as well. It's a really nice location. I never stayed there. I had a friend stay there overnight because she was in the wedding. Her sister got married there, and then I was part of the. It was a women's event, the Latina Women's Business Association. I was asked to host there. So I've been there a few times and I like it, but I know ever since I was introduced to that place, I think about 13, 14, 15 years ago, I thought there's some weird stuff and, so I don't know. I don't know if that's a situation. Did they get footage of it or what?
No, there are no cameras there, I don't think. But
Okay.
like if you go there, there's like just weird architecture in general.
I
And I
like the
kind of wish
architecture. It looks like a mission, but as far as I know, it was made to look like one. But I have questions on that because it looks like the rooms look very much like, I'm like, who would want to stay here? Not gonna lie, because it looks like a, how do I say it? Like, how a priest would stay in a room? It looks like that. I'm like, who would want to stay here like this? Like, it's kind of, I don't know. I mean, I like the location, and they deck it out like in, let's see, I want to say November, December, and January with like lights. It's very beautiful, by the way. They have a restaurant there. I've eaten there. I've met up with friends there. It's a really nice place. But again, when you hear things like this, it's like, okay, is it the first of other things to come, right? So I think that's kind of the thing about that story that you're talking about.
yes, yes, yes.
Highly suspicious, huh? I don't know.
I
I,
don't know.
I say this: if you ever feel things around you and you go, "That's weird. That's weird. That we're," or you put off lights and you're like, "Okay, what just like grazed up against me?" It's like that. So I don't know, but whatever. It is a thing. Let's see. Rosalie on social media says, "Ooh, I want to go. I like weird things like that. Maybe I'll get banned there too. I don't know." Genius says just tuning in. Let's see. Oh, sad news there. She says she lost her auntie in Rome. Let's see. And she says, I'm keeping it positive. Feel for all his families. Keeping prayers on. We'll keep with you in our thoughts and prayers. Judy says, having coffee with my granddaughter, Jordan McLean, and going to see my granddaughter, Elisa McLean. Awesome. Or is it Alicia? No, it's Elisa. Let's see. Tuning in from Wyoming, by the way. I should say this. Tuning in from Wyoming, Wheatland. So, and I had a thought about that because I know the price of wheat kind of went up. But yeah, and Stephanie Reed from Cleveland, Ohio says, hello, happy editing this glorious sunshine. Awesome, this busy day ahead for today. And we appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. Don't forget, we're also streaming live on LinkedIn, also on Twitter, and also on YouTube. So if you're on any one of those platforms, make sure to let us know. All right, people, we got to take a quick little break. We get back. We got more right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Join Yvette Walker every Tuesday at 4 o'clock p.m. on KMET ABC News Radio, 1490 AM, FM 98.1, and Internet KMET TV for the Southern California Business Report. The show is dedicated to highlighting successful businesses and the individuals behind them. Yvette interviews the incredible people managing these enterprises that range from awe-inspiring sole proprietors to world-renowned organizations. The Southern California Business Report, Tuesdays at 4 o'clock p.m.
You're running out of letterhead. What do? Lithopass Printing. You need business cards. Now what? Lithopass Printing. Invitations to a wedding? Lithopass Printing and Banning is the answer. Lithopass Printing can provide banners, signs, and blueprints. Think of Lithopass Printing and Banning for quality graduation, birthday party, and baby shower invitations. Lithopass Printing also provides lamination, faxing, and photo prints. If you need it inked, make it Lithopass Printing. Lithopass Printing and Banning.
Don't let insurance companies make decisions for you. Go to Pass Auto Center in Banning, your one-stop repair facility with full collision repair, auto maintenance, service, and an authorized smog center. You'll also find a full-service used car lot to fit every budget with the right vehicle for you. Trade-ins are accepted and they pay cash for your car. Pass Auto Center at 2609 West Ramsey in Banning, just off the I-10 freeway between Sunset and 22nd. Call 951-849-7878.
Are you paying rent because you think you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you renting because you don't believe that you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? The Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com, license under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Football season is back, and so is Steer the Line with Lou Desmond and me, Jeremy James. Join Lou and I, along with special guests, every Friday at 5 p.m. as we cover the latest in NFL news, fantasy football, and, of course, our weekly Steer the Line game picks. We'll also do check-ins on our local LA teams and, of course, a deeper dive into Raider Nation. Fridays at 5 p.m. on 1490 KMET. Follow Steer the Line on Facebook and visit steertheline.com.
Hello, listeners. This is Christopher from The Christopher Show. Hey, if you missed one of our shows here at KMET, don't worry about it. You can go to our webpage, and that's KMET1490am.com. Go to the homepage, click on the SoundCloud tab, and hear any show anytime you want.
Right, because little kids love to touch stuff, so who knows what they'll be touching.
I'm sorry, my audio wasn't on. Okay, you could hear me, Jesse, right? But they can't hear me. So download our app. It's free. KBT 1490 AM. Sometimes I put myself on mute and I didn't notice that, but thank you. Okay, back to this though. Pox is a thing, but you got to be aware it's going to be a thing. If it's among kids, it's going to be among people eventually. Question is, are they going to close down the schools anytime soon? So be ahead of it. But it's also this. It's being reported. I'm going to reiterate this to our online audience. Sorry if you're tuning in on the radio. You probably hear us, but we have different feeds going out to different locations. But if you have a problem with pox eventually, it's because one of several things happened. One, you came across somebody who was infected and didn't know it. Two, you maybe rubbed up against a surface. Again, you didn't know who was, and or a multiple way. So don't think it's just an LGBTQ thing. Because I saw a report with Newsom, and he kind of said that in his report. He shouldn't have, because it's not just a thing among those in the community of LGBTQ. It just isn't. And I said this to several on let's just put it this way. It's being reported as that, but in Africa, it's not a LGBTQ thing. It's a skin thing. All right? It's an outbreak, and you got to get that in your head, because anybody can get it. You do not have to be... If your grandma can get it, you can get it. All right? Just remember that. So this is one of those things where I say be careful with surfaces, be careful with, you get it, like, be careful, because the next few weeks, at first we're seeing just low numbers. You're seeing in the hundreds. You go, okay, but it's going to all of a sudden like have a huge, and I don't know if they're going to report on it properly, but in the next few weeks we'll probably have some deaths along the way. And that's going to be the sad thing. Nobody's reporting that part because I think if anything, they don't want to, like, you know what I mean? People, and I've seen a few reports like, don't be this or that when it comes to fear. But I say this, be aware of it so you don't have to be infected, because you do not want to be infected with something that causes bumps on your skin. All right? A, it's painful. And B, wherever you rub, it gets infected on skin. Okay? So if you get infected, quarantine 100%. And they're not saying how many days just yet, but I would say minimum anywhere from 14 to 20, okay? Minimum, all right? And the CDC has all kinds of different things. I mean, they were reporting how, you remember back in 2020, they reported like 14-day quarantine, even up to 20 sometimes, right? Or if you travel, you had to be at least a quarantine of 14 days, even if you don't have it. And then all of a sudden they reduced it to 5. So I kind of don't go all the way with what CDC says. I go back to, what specialists say, and they say anywhere from 14 to, honestly, 20 days. Okay, just keep that in your head. Some people say 14 to 18, but if you get infected, you don't want to give it out to anyone else. Okay, that's 100%. Genia says beware of skin contact, and yes, and then she says the vaccine's available. It is, but it isn't. Okay, this is where you got to be careful and not. Let me put it this way. There are a few reports that are very smart. Okay. Every virus mutates, right? Certain vaccines become kind of like, let me put it this way. Flu, and not everybody gets the flu shot, right? But let's say your mother or father has a certain set of things in their body which are going to cause a problem for them, if they get the simple flu, right? People do die from the flu, right? So they're at risk, right? And usually they kind of lump it together, anyone over 50, right? Or 60 or 65, right? And they say, hey, we recommend you getting your flu shot, because they can end up in the hospital with pneumonia and or any, whatever the flu can cause. That's just a normal flu. Well, if you get a vaccine from like, I don't know, anywhere from 3-4 years ago, for the new flus, they're kind of like not a thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Well, these vaccines are from like years ago. This virus has mutated, and there's different strains coming. So you got to be aware of that, because when it mixes with right? Let's say you have somebody infected with this, but they already have coronavirus. It can mutate even more. So that's the thing that they're not planning for. The other thing is they are in short supply of it. So they don't have enough to go around. The amount that they're going to actually release, let's put it this way. You had a better time getting a vaccine for coronavirus than you do with this because there's just not enough to go around. It's a world epidemic. And because it's a world epidemic and it's spreading so fast, you don't know who has it until you get it. You get where I'm going with this? Any surface that comes into contact with another person is going to be a problem. Back to this report. I'm going to go back to this. It's very important. Because one of them is said to have traveled. Well, how do you know the father or mother didn't like put the kid on a surface in the bathroom, for example, right? Changing, the diaper. You don't know, right? That's how easy it could be spread. Or let's say your kid came into contact with the same surface of that baby or that infant. You see how it could get really big, and that's why I say it's not an LGBTQ thing. I don't want people to get that in their head, because then they kind of just write it off. I've already had one person write it off in front of me, and I was like, yeah, not going, And he has a lot of friends in the community, but he's like, it's just, and I'm like, whoa, chill, man. If the community heard you like that, they would kind of like, you know what I mean? They would be like, you're not a friend of us. You know what I mean? So be careful with that. That's number one. Number two, because it's now they're enacting certain things, they're just not ahead of it. There was a report about 20,000 some vaccines available. Do the math on that, okay? Vaccine is supposed to be a preemptive strike, not a, you get where I'm going with that? A vaccine isn't a cure, just like the flu. If you get the flu and you get a vaccine, is it too late for you, Jesse?
I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, the answer is yes. It's supposed to be there before the flu, not while you have the flu. You get it? There's certain things that can help you with the flu, to reduce the severity of it. But usually, if you start having problems in your lungs, you better go to the doctor, right? With just the regular flu. We're not even talking about coronavirus. We're not talking about pox. We're not talking about any of these things. So that's what I want to get in the heads of people. That's why I will say this right now. The government needs to get his act together and report it properly. Anybody can get it. That's why it's a problem. Okay, if you just say the LGBTQ thing, then you kind of minimize how many can get it and are minimizing people's heads how many will get sick eventually. It is not an LGBTQ thing, and it's not a thing to ostracize a whole community in that way when it is a thing. All right. Now, in other news, and I will say this, Jesse, I saw some really interesting news. And I could see how some will say, okay, why is this, still being talked about? But I'm kind of glad it is. There was a report about here it is, a treatment. And I think this is a good positive thing to get ahead of. Now, this, again, anyone can get, but usually it's transmitted, obviously, I'll say with fluids, right? Two people, according to this, have been, quote, the C word. I'm not going to use the C word. I would say, at least they're in remittance, at least, of HIV with a cancer treatment. One woman as well. Let's see. According to this, hold on. Let me get this. I hate these ads. Oh, and one woman who developed natural control over the virus. Okay, so there is a treatment out there, which you're going to probably hear more of, and that's actually a really positive. If you're going to talk about stuff that happens, and back to this, it blows out like HIV because it attacks the cells in your body. That's why I say it's not just a skin thing; it's in your body eventually, and when it's in your body eventually, it goes at it in your body as well. So don't get it. That's number one. Number two, the way it breaks out, and some people due to certain I'll give you an example. I saw a report on somebody who had it big on his nose. It was a huge outbreak, and some people have it on their face, right? And it reminds you of later times of people with HIV that have it full blown out on their body, right? It's not HIV though, but HIV attacks the immune system. The immune system becomes weak, and then these things kind of erupt in the body. So it's basically, in essence, I don't know how to say this, but it's unrelated. That's number one. Number two, it does appear like it is, but it isn't, if that makes any sense. So don't lump the two together. That's number one. Number 2, this is good stuff for people there. It says one male patient underwent a bone marrow transplant from a donor who is HIV immune. And the other person, a woman who has an atypical number of special cells, may attack HIV, making her an elite controller of the infection. 2 more HIV patients that are positive, HIV positive, have been, again, the C word, they used it, of the immunodeficiency virus, according to scientists that announced this at AIDS 2022 in Montreal this week, literally. And again, this is a good thing because they've been investigating this ever since, honestly, the 80s and kind of going, when can we get ahead of this? So there's been a lot of research done. And it says this: one person is a cancer patient, the other is a woman who seems to have a mysterious and special ability to control the virus post-treatment. The finds, while are still rare, are 2 distinct glimmers of hope for HIV. According to this, researchers hunting for a cure for the disease achieved by 2 different mechanisms. Scientists prefer to say these people are in long-term remission, since we can't say for certain that the cures are permanent. See, like I say, don't use this C word. But long-term remission is better than nothing at all if you have HIV. And HIV, again, can be transmitted. Back to the report that people are kind of reporting. Yes, pox can be transmitted with fluids as well, but let's put it this way: HIV, if you had a blood transfusion with somebody infected with AIDS, would you get it, Jesse?
No.
Wrong. Yes, you would get it.
Yes.
Remember, it's a blood disease. Okay, so
I know. I tried to switch it up.
No, switch that one up. Okay, that's where you want them to screen for it, right? If you get a blood transfusion, but usually, yeah. So, but yeah, in other words, if you got a situation with blood with somebody with pox, would you get infected, Jesse?
Yes.
The answer, yes. Yes, it gets into the blood, okay? Just because it's on the skin doesn't mean doesn't get into your body and then replicate in your body in a weird way. So remember that, okay? Be very careful with all of that, all right? So just be careful, okay? But this is good for those with HIV, if you have HIV, right? And again, that could be, honestly, let's say you are married and you go, no, I have no problem with that. But your partner, right, your married partner, suddenly, well, they don't tell you anything. And then years later, you realize you have HIV. Well, how'd you get it? Especially if you were, with that one person. You go, wait a minute, did you cheat on me? Right? And then everything's found out, right? Because it can be transmitted that way, especially through, transmittance like that. So whenever they say get tested. And then, honestly, I hope this is a thing for people because a lot of people are getting this and you don't want that. So, but City of Hope is on this list as well. Named for the Cancer Center in California, where this person was treated for leukemia, which is the first patient who has been deemed functionally, the C word, we'll say long-term remission of HIV, is at City of Hope. City of Hope's patient reported C word is a result of a kind of 1-2 punch for cancer and HIV, using a bone marrow transplantation with HIV-resistant cells. The patient, who's now 66 years old, had been living with HIV for 31 years when he underwent transplantation for leukemia at the age of 63. So basically, he got that, and then they go, wait, what just happened? So it's kind of like an accident waiting to happen, which is kind of good when you think about all the research being done. His Dr. Jana Dichter said he has no evidence of HIV replication in his body during her presentation Monday at the AIDS 2022 conference in Montreal. She said the purpose of this transplant was to cure his leukemia. So they were going in for one thing, but they basically, through testing, they go, wait a minute, what just happened with HIV? So this is a really good discovery. So this is the kind of thing they go, okay, good, what next? They're going to probably put this more into testing this. And so far they've seen this in a few other people as well, which will probably be reported in the next few weeks. But remember, they're separate things, okay? If you have HIV, A, don't spread it, and B, monitor it. And again, he still lives, 31 years. A lot of people died with HIV early on because it got out of hand. Now they have things to help control it, but it's still a thing that can be transmitted from one person to another. So if you have it, you need to be aware of it. And if you have it, you want to be honest with, the person you become, in a relationship with. But yeah, there you go. All right, people, we got to take a quick little break. We'll be back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Here's to your health with Joshua Lane. Ideas you can use to be healthy and stay healthy. The current thinking about beauty, fitness, and longevity. Every Tuesday and Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Wellness talk you can use. Here's to your health with Joshua Lane on KMET, naturally.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions is now Beaumont Pharmacy with a new location at the Sundance Corporate Center. That's at the corner of Highland Springs and 8th in Suite 110. Of course, they still have Pack Your Meds. No more counting out the pills, dropping them on the floor. Oh, what a mess. And they have a full of pharmaceutical CBD, wheelchairs, over-the-counter meds, you name it, they've got it. So if you're looking for the best and you want the best pharmacy, you go to Beaumont Pharmacy at their new location, 835 North Highland Springs, Beaumont Avenue in Beaumont, California, Suite 110. Give them a call, 951-845-8252.
Get the up-to-the-minute forecasts and temperatures for Beaumont, Banning, Redlands, Palm Springs, your community, national or international cities on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. The station now features AccuWeather. AccuWeather offers weekend and extended forecasts along with the latest radar map and current conditions. AccuWeather on KMET1490am.com. Log in every morning for your daily forecast.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. We appreciate each and every one of you. We're out of time for Jesse and me. We are going to see you another time. Make sure to follow us on social media. It's a great thing. Jesse, take it away. For those of you still here, yeah, we're out of time. I know I didn't look at the clock. I was like, wait, what? But we appreciate each and every one of you. Rosalie there says, my boys are not vaccinated when they contacted COVID from me. The pediatrician, though, put them on Paxlovid, and it really helped them not have severe symptoms. That's good, but be aware it can still be transmitted to others, okay? So be careful with that. So it says 14 days quarantine, but all sores need to be completely healed, no scabs. Yes. And I will say this, a lot of, let's put it this way, there's a lot of news happening when it comes to pox, and some of it's kind of all over the place, all right? So let me kind of bring some perspective on this. That way you guys are, let me put it this way. One person said, wow, thank you, I appreciate, you spreading like information that makes sense. Because there's a lot of information that isn't making sense. Now, in certain areas like Illinois, because of this, I'm looking at a report now that just was reported on, California and Illinois declare states of emergency over the monkeypox outbreak, okay? The reason this is a thing, and I will say this ahead of time, okay? Just like coronavirus, some people are going, wait, why are we having more, is it, I hear all kinds of little things, but the thing is, it's real. That's number one. Don't get into the mindset of, oh, it's not real and I'm not going to get it. Anybody that's gotten coronavirus, back to Rosalie and our others, right? Algenia, I know you probably lost some people along the way. I know I lost some people along the way. It's real. So don't buy into the whole it's not real thing. That's number one. Number two, there's a lot of information going back and forth on masks, and I say, just be safe. Period. End of story. Whether they do or don't worry about that. Just be aware of your own self, okay? Don't worry about what they mandate, what they don't mandate. Just, back to people with kids. Have they know pox is a thing, okay? Coronavirus, let's put it this way. A very, very smart person literally said a lot of people are not going to understand they're going to die from monkeypox. Now, the mortality rate is a little higher than it is with coronavirus, okay? And I said this back in 2020. I said, look, people, the majority will get well. But I will say this. You don't want to be infected, all right? Now, I will also say, at least, now I can say my mom's been safe, I've been safe, and others have been safe because they haven't gotten it because they're very safe wherever they go, right? I've had my mom, honestly, stay home more than not, but we go out from time to time, but we're safe when we do it. Thankfully, she hasn't, but she did get the vaccination. I'll give you an example. When it first came out in spring of 2021, she got it. Okay, she's at risk. She has diabetes, right? Actually, I will say this. She's getting into pre-diabetic mode. And you can actually reduce your diabetes if you get ahead of it. It's back to eating. It's back to, other things with your blood. And you can reduce it. You can reduce the number so you're actually just like, honestly, well, I'm not going to say that. But let's put it this way. You can actually reduce it so much, you pretty much, you still are prone to it if you don't watch what you put in your body or what happens with your sugar. But you don't want coronavirus with it, okay? It amps up in a really bad way. But there are other things that may be in your body. We talked about that as of last week, and I said basically, look, if you get sick, it could attack your liver, it could attack your kidney, even if you had alcohol, right? That's certain ones. There was a report recently about a new wave coming in certain states, and they're going, which one is this? So it's mutating like crazy, okay? So I guess the only thing to say about this at this point is where are we going with this? Now, in certain areas, like here in LA, right, which, again, many of you are from, and Florida, right, where they go, it's not a thing, it is the thing, and in like New York and or San Francisco, it's getting where let's put it this way, wherever people congregate a lot, it's going to hit that heavy. Is it going to hit the rest of the states? The answer is, well, it already is. But you can control an outbreak like this if you have certain measures enacted. And if you okay, let me put it this way. The governor put in a certain thing with this, and let me read this. Let's see. I'm going to put this on. This is an article on NPR. I trust their news more than not. It says California Governor Gavin Newsom and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker declared states of emergency in their states this yesterday, actually, due to monkeypox outbreaks. And I will say the way they say it is kind of like, huh, but it actually does a lot of things behind the scenes. It makes it so that you're, in essence, able to get what you need when you need it. Okay, when it came to coronavirus, at least in 2020, Newsom did a lot of things to enact to help save people, including, even though people hate it, and I know I've seen some reports on it, some people aren't paying their bills, but they quarantined, right? Now, some would say that hurt the economy. I would say the answer, it did, and the kind of, but have we rebounded from it? And the answer, no, we haven't. All right, are we ahead of it, though, with coronavirus? The answer is more than not, that depends. The outbreak of coronavirus is different than that of pox, but it's still kind of becoming all over the place, right? There's a lot of mutations of it. And there are some that hit you really hard, really fast, and then there are some that you feel you get well from, but you still have. That's 4, 5, or 6. Basically 5 or 6, really, and maybe 7 or 8 coming. Those ones are a slow roll. So if you exhibit certain fatigue symptoms still, like weeks later, like usually over 3 to 4 weeks, be ahead of it. Kind of like Biden. You know how they said, oh, he got it a second time? I think he had it still. I don't think he got it a second time. I think he had it, but like I said, the testing kind of goes, oh, you don't have it, because they do the swab test in your nose, but they need to do, honestly, a different type of test. It's called in your blood. If you do that, then you'll be ahead of it. Now, is he getting well? I don't know. Reports are saying the answer, all over the place. But anyone can have it longer than norm. Okay, I've had people have and 3-4 months later they're suffering, right? And you think they have another problem with them. It isn't. It goes back to them getting coronavirus to begin with because it stays in the body. Back to pox. Pox stays in the body. That's why you don't want it. Okay. And there is no cure for it. Okay. There is the ability to alleviate the symptoms. Back to what they're kind of touting as the thing. If you have it or you came in close, you get it. If you may have come into close proximity to somebody, you're going to want to... Well, that's the thing. There's not enough to go around. So I say this. When they have a rollout, California's ahead of it. Illinois, ahead of it. Because they're enacting this. So let me read this. It says this. This is the governor in Illinois. He said, monkeypox is a rare but potentially serious disease that requires a full mobilization of all available public health resources to prevent the spread. Yes and no. I will say this. The way you prevent the spread, because you don't have enough to go around, is honestly, lockdown. This is not the thing you guys want. Okay? It's worse than coronavirus. And the mortality, I kind of danced around it earlier. It's anywhere from 8 to 12%. Okay? Get that in your head. Ebola, which is now having a resurgence. They're calling it different things. Ebola has anywhere from, honestly, 14 to 18%. Okay? Yeah. So out of 100 people, 18 will die. That's Ebola. You don't want Ebola. Okay? Pox, anywhere from, you get it, like, out of 100 people, 12 people, you get it. This is not something you want to get. And because it's not LGBTQ thing, anyone can get it. Back to these kids getting it and them reporting it. Thank God that they're reporting it. Anyone can get it if it's on the surface of your skin. Okay, it gets underneath and in your body, and you don't want it. Okay. So according to this, declaring a state emergency helps with the logistics. Let me go back to what he says. He says, that's why I am declaring a state emergency to ensure smooth coordination between state agencies and all levels of government, thereby increasing our ability to prevent and treat the disease quickly. That's the problem right there. There is no way to treat it quickly. Okay, you need to do preventive action. Go back to areas like New Zealand, all right? Go back to areas like there's countries that go into full lockdown for a full 2 weeks. Now, can we get ahead of it? Yes. Do they have the ability to reimburse people? Yes. Whenever there is a world epidemic, you have to say we want to keep our people safe. That's number one. Number two, you can't go back to the way you get if people die along the way. And there's a huge outbreak of disease. Okay? And it can be spread quick and fast. I'll give you an example. Some places in the last couple of years closed down their restrooms, right? Some restaurants actually no, you can't eat inside. But some, just the restrooms, okay? They don't want to clean it up again and again and again and again. Right? Well, the problem with that is it's supposed to be accessible, but whatever. This is a problem, not just for people, but for everyone eventually if people don't do the right thing. Let's say you know someone with pox, okay, and they don't want to say they have pox because it gets all over the body, right? But they go to Target because they need medication, right? And they're alone, right? They don't have anybody to go for them, right? And they wear a mask, right? Maybe they don't, whatever. They don't wear gloves, right? And they're doing that. It's on their, maybe they are, but it's just more. And then they touch money, or they touch a handle, or they touch a bottle. Well, this isn't a bottle, but it's a can, right? Which I love to drink, Coke, right? But whatever. That's how easy it spreads. That's why they don't have a handle on it, people. Okay, you do not want pox. And some people are going on social media saying they have pox. Be aware of it. But again, it's going to be it says to... Now, when they say our ability to prevent and treat the disease quickly, treating is not going to be a thing. Okay, so these vaccinations, a vaccine helps you fight if you come into contact with, but if you get it while you have it, now there are things to help reduce, but you need to, back to the big word that you said, you need to quarantine away from other people, okay? That's number one. Number two, it is a horrible thing if you have it. You don't want to quarantine. You want to be like, people help, right? And number three, they're not ready for this, okay? It says this: declaring a state of emergency often helps with the logistics and coordination between departments working to respond to the emergency. In this case, it means devoting more resources to testing opportunities. That's good. And vaccinations. That's good, but they don't have enough, okay? Back to supply. The world needs it. Now, when it's an outbreak in like a country like Africa, which it was, you can kind of get ahead of it because you have to, like, you get it, but you quarantine that area. That's what Africa did when they had it. All right, so that's what people need to know. The World Health Organization is really good at this, by the way. Again, I really recommend that you guys see this. It's called Pandemic. Go check it out. It's on Netflix. It will help educate you on this. If you see that, you'll be ahead of it. Algenia, I know you're ahead of it. You have friends who are in the community of this, and so, you know, they get it. And thank you for saying that as well. She says they totally cells are different mutations affecting the immune system now. Yeah, and they are. Okay, now I say don't be the one who goes but be the one that goes, you know what? Let's be safe. You know, so have that discussion with your family members and say, hey, if you see somebody that has like a big outbreak, just steer clear. Okay. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that. Newsom did get cited saying this: California is working urgently across all levels of government to slow the spread of monkeypox. So you don't want to slow it; you want to eliminate it. You got to get that in your head, people. Eliminate it. Okay, we want to eliminate it. Back to something that I know is always very controversial, because back to the economy and back to having to pay for things. When they made certain monies available to certain businesses to stay alive, they did so in 2020, 2021, and 2022. Okay. When it comes to people needing to pay their rent or pay their bills or pay electricity or pay their gas, there were certain provisions made available, right? We need to go back to that for this. This is bad, okay? People go, why are we in another one, right? Like, the 10s were great, okay? 2010 to 2020, awesome, right? Now we're in the 20s. It's like, what? Everybody thought 2020 was going to be awesome, right? Not awesome. So be aware this is a thing. Don't minimize it, and make sure that if you do find anybody that has it, that you say, all right, be aware of it. If you have an outbreak, make sure go to the doctor immediately. I'm not saying don't get the vaccine, but there's not enough to go around, all right? And I know, because I had my mom like check in on it, because she would be at risk if she did get it. But you want to get a vaccine before you get the virus. Do you get it? And they don't have enough. People wonder, well, how many do they have? I saw one report, at least here in, I think in California, they have 20,000. Right? And you go, well, they're only in the hundreds. Again, it's a vaccination against having it to begin with. And that's an older case of monkeypox. It's mutated already. Again, the smart science has already kind of done that research. That's why I said we're not ahead of it. Now, are they enacting certain things ahead of time to say, hey, we need to get this like mass produced? Yes. And are they going to have certain things? Yes. Back to coronavirus. The fall edition, probably in a couple months that they'll probably announce, will be one which is more ahead than not. I think they cover 1, 2, and 3. I don't know if they cover 4 or 5. I know they're saying please cover that, but it's so new. The researchers are going to do. We're trying to get ahead of this. So people are going to die along the way. They're going to get sick along the way, and they're going to have fatigue along the way. Again, if you have fatigue or you have like A, get your blood drawn, and C, what it's affecting, because coronavirus does affect the blood and or your body, especially the liver and or the kidneys. Okay, so if you have a lot of fatigue and or problems there, be ahead of it. Okay, that's what I'll say. Other than that, here it is. And these numbers are all over the place. Okay, I saw one report that it was up to 8,000, and that was about a week and a half ago, of cases have been. Okay, and I know you're thinking, well, we're in the millions. Why would that be a thing? Because it goes fast. Those are the people that actually report it. Okay, and even they say there's nothing there for them to be like, because it's so new. You would think, no, they treat every disease. This is a disease that they thought was gone in the 70s. Okay, you heard of reports of it in Africa. That's why you say, oh, I see the reports of Africa. But it was kind of not a thing, all right? And now it is all of a sudden. It's like huge, right? So treat it as that and then be aware of it going forward, okay? Right now, it's still in the hundreds here in California. They say here 827 in California, 520 in Illinois. They say that California has given 25,000 doses of monkeypox vaccine and received, oh, here it is. Okay, so I got the news wrong. They received about 61,000 doses, okay? But again, there's not enough to go around. So don't get it, okay? And be aware wherever you go. Honestly, wear gloves, okay? It may look weird. It may look just work. And wear gloves in a way. I remember somebody showed me. I don't have any gloves with me right here, right now. It's in the other room. But you take them off, kind of like sliding them off, and then you just like a doctor would. Okay, you have to learn how to take them off. You don't because you still touch the surface. You gotta make it so you don't touch the surface. But you wear a little, not a lot. Like when you go in public places, definitely. If you are on the transit, wear gloves. Okay, but take them off when you exit. And if you got another pair, put those on. You may look. And I know how it looks, okay? Trust me, because I've done it. Okay, it looks like you're a hypochondriac. Be a hypochondriac better than being someone suffering in weeks to come. You do not want pox, okay? It is a problem on the skin. You do not want it on your skin. It is a breakout of the worst kind, okay? So be ahead of it. All right, other than that, I will say this. You guys are smart. Keep smart and be aware these things are happening. We can get ahead if we do the right thing. Don't get sick. Don't get it, and you'll be fine eventually. All right, but be ahead of it. I will. Let's see. Here it is. Let me say this really quick. The 5 variant, which was first detected in the U.S. at the end of April, has been a problem. Right, we've been talking about it. Biden kind of mean, right? I think he has 4 or 5 and 6 maybe. It's making up over 80% of the cases nationally, and it's raising a lot of health concerns because it infects people, even if they're vaccinated or had a prior infection. In other words, how do I say this? If you treat it completely different, and you even call it coronavirus, it's a virus that has a mortality rate of anywhere from, I don't want to say that. It's bad. Yeah, this one's bad, but it's a slow roll. It's not quick like coronavirus alpha. Okay, in 2020, if you were in the hospital, you're in the hospital pretty quick. Okay, this one is a 3 to 4 month problem. Okay, so if you get this one, just all right. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that because it's depressing. This person, Dr. Jeremy Cowells. This is how researchers. It's weird. It's almost like when they investigate these things, they like, wow, it's amazing, the body and science, right? This person says the good news is that the viruses evolve in the way that we expect viruses to evolve. So they get better at spreading and they get worse at killing their host. Yeah, no, they actually get worse at killing their host. But so people get excited by just the research. It's weird. Yeah. So it's bad. State epidemiologist Josh Clayton said to Newswatch in response to written questions that the state will continue the policy of weekly rather than daily COVID data updates. They were doing daily. I said they need to go back to that. They got to stop getting so lax. You guys are getting lazy out there, all right? You really are. We need to be aware of day-to-day transmission, okay? When you're aware of the daily transmission, then as a health community, you know how to get ahead of it, right? If you're only weekly, well, what if somebody forgets to report weekly? Right, you guys get busy. Let's see. Yeah, it made it clear it's not dismissing the threat of 5, which did infect Joe Biden. Features symptoms similar to previous variants, including congestion, headaches, cough, fever, and fatigue. That's a cold. Okay, that's what people say. I have a cold. No, you don't. Yeah, 4, 5, or CDC study and cited the potential for some individuals to suffer from long COVID. Don't get long COVID. Basically, that's called. Yeah, I'm not going to call it what it calls. Post-infection conditions that can include a wide range of ongoing health problems that last weeks, months, or years. Well, at least they reported that. Well, that's the first I've seen. Yeah, I don't want to say it, but it is up to a year. Okay, it's a problem. Anybody that has had a person who had or even Delta, or worse yet, Delta Plus, a lot of people don't even know. And some people don't even know the one that they got, right? They just know they got it, right? They go, no, I'm here, right? But the problem is how it attacks your body slowly. You don't want it. Let's see. Kevin Post, Chief Medical Officer for Avera Health, said the hospital system constantly monitors their ability to serve the community during the ebbs and flows of a pandemic. I say epidemic at this point. Which means having enough medical personnel in position to help those in need. Let's see. South Dakota's rate of vaccinated people is 63%, which is high, actually. It's pretty good. It says below the national average of 67%. Still high, good. Among those vaccinated, though, 43% have multiple shots, which ranks 39th among all states. That puts the state behind CDC recommendations that anyone 50 and older. What happened to 65 and older? Is that a thing? No. 12 and older for those immunocompromised. I remember that, yeah. Yeah, should get a second dose at least 4 months after their first. Yeah, it really lasts anywhere for 4 or 6 months. So. Vaccinations, look it up. Vaccinations are a limited thing, guys. It's not a cure, okay? When they say the word, what is it? What's the one when you got, like, back in the day? A vaccine doesn't cure. It helps prevent in the event that you get a version of it that it has in it, right? The newer the one that it is, I'll give you an example. If you travel in certain areas, they have a different version of it. You want to get where you travel that eventually, if you're going to stay more than 3 or 4 months, right? Does that make sense? Yeah, I don't think people get it. Anyway, Post said that when someone gets vaccinated or has an active infection, there are 3 to 4 months when the individual has active circulating antibodies that work quickly to respond to exposure. Well, that depends on the one that was, like, part of that vaccination. Back to the flu. If you get, that's why people say, well, I still got the flu. Yeah, but did you get the one that because there's so many different strains of it, all right? If you do the math on just the flu, they have strains like anywhere from, on average, and this is weird, but if you travel, you have, I'm not going to go that way. Anyway, my point is this. Be ahead of it. He did say this, though. As the antibodies wane, he said vaccinations become crucial to provide protection against severe illness, a message that doesn't always cut through potential posturing on topic of vaccines. That's true. You got to remember, people, okay? Trump got coronavirus. Did he get treated? Yes. Did it help? Yes. Did he get, well eventually? Yes. Is he doing well now? Yes. Okay? He still got it. All right? I know a lot of people go, no, dude, Trump got it. I mean, he went to the doctor, got it. He may have kind of been like, I'm fine. You want to appear weak. But, yeah, so I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of concerned about the Biden thing. Because if Biden gets worse, you got to go, what next, right? If Biden gets, let's put it this way. Biden's already at risk. But his age already puts him at risk, right? Even Trump. With the new variant, if he got the new variant, like 6, 7, or 8, he'd probably be more sick than not, right? So I'm concerned on that. Kamala, who's the VP, will have to be. You get where I'm going with this? It would be I hope it doesn't, but if it does, there's a lot of things that are going to happen all of a sudden. So just be careful there. Yeah. I guess that's all I can say about that. All I can say is just be careful, be aware, and then be ahead of it. All right. All right, people, we're going to say make it a great day. Whatever you do, remember, life is worth living. Live it well, and don't get pox. All right, people, make it a great day. Bye-bye.